Opnanda, good afternoon, bonjour, buenas tardes, guten tag. Welcome to you all. Now, Global Futures GUE and a number of primary schools in North Wales have been working with the Powered Language team and used the wonderful resources they offer for quite some time. The feedback from all practitioners, many with no language knowledge or many unsure as to how to start with language teaching in their settings, as well as teachers who want to move their schools further with integrating international languages in their curriculum design, the feedback has been so positive that we have decided to offer every school in North Wales the opportunity to apply for a fully funded 2-year subscription to the platform and access the full resources for 2 languages of their choice. Applications are still open, so if you have not done so, please complete the form. The link will be in the chat, or contact me via email or via your school SIA. Working with the team at Power Language is a real pleasure, and I can't thank them enough for their support, approachability, their willingness to tailor their offer to our needs here in North Wales. And that's why it's such a great pleasure to welcome Richard Talaron tonight. Richard is in charge of professional development and a real drive in developing resources which are relevant, innovative, and adapted to schools' needs. He has very kindly agreed to deliver 2 sessions for our schools in North Wales today and on the 16th of June, with a view to ensure that our schools become familiar with the platform, the resources, and to also develop pedagogical approaches, which I hope you will find useful. As always, questions and contributions are very welcome during or after the presentation. So please do not be shy or feel that you shouldn't. This is a session for you and for your needs, wherever you are on the journey to developing international languages in your schools and your own practice. Use the chat function, or if you've forgotten something after the session, feel free to contact me or Richard, of course. So without any further ado, I'm passing it over to you, Richard, and thank you once again for being there tonight.
Muchas gracias, Stéphanie. That's very kind of you. Merci. Hello, everybody. Bonjour. Je m'appelle Richard. I've met some of you. I recognize some faces there. I was born in France, but I live in Scotland. I am in sunny Edinburgh just now. I've been living here for quite some time, and I spent all my professional life, in fact, in Scotland, working with Education Scotland, Scottish Government, SILT, a national language centre for Scotland. So I am delighted to join you, friends and colleagues. There is a real Celtic connection between Wales and Scotland. Today, I'm going to come up with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 little activities. And really it's to maybe show you how the Power Language platform, Power Language for School, how it works, but also to maybe help you think about the way you deliver French or Spanish or German. I know most of you will do Welsh already, and see how we can maybe start the journey or carry on the journey together. As you said, Stephanie, please ask any questions, or it's really for me to help you and not the opposite, to adapt to your needs and not the opposite. If you say from time to time, oui, Richard, usually that keeps me happy. Okay, oui, Richard, thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen just now, and we'll go back and forth, always screen sharing and then discussion. I'm going to share my screen, go to the Power Language platform, and explain a couple of things. 2 secondes, up, share. Stephanie, if you don't say anything, that means you can see my screen and everything's going well. Great. I don't know how many of you have been able to connect yet. I know some of you have been using the platform for quite some time. As Stephanie said, each school, you all have a login, you have your login details and password. If not, get in touch with Stephanie. Is that the best, Stephanie? Yes. So this is the home page once you're logged on to the PLS, and really the 2 main sections are these 2, planners and resources. So I'm going to take a couple of activities, one from the planners and one from the resources, and I'm going to show you the connection between the two, how they work together. So I'm clicking on planners, okay, and I'm going to use French to begin with, but we'll do one or two things in Spanish as well, German. It's up to you. So I'm going to use French because it's easier for me just now. And I'm going for PL School 2. In case you can't remember what that means, first of all, I know Stephanie has some recording of prior sessions that we've done. And also on the Paralanguage platform itself, you can click on help, how it works. And there are videos explaining how it works. So PL School 2 means this is the second year you use the platform with your learners. This is the first year, this is the second year. It's a 7-year progression. So this is the second year you use your platform and you teach a year 4 class, let's say. The year is split into 4 blocks, okay? Each block is 8 to 10 weeks worth of stuff. So I'm clicking on block 1 and each block is designed in the same way, the same layout. You get the objectives, the main objectives of the 8 to 10 weeks worth of stuff. You get the full planner here, which you can download. And underneath you have the activities and the videos and everything you need to deliver the 8 weeks worth, what's on the planner there. So I wanted to show you the little progression, which I think is quite important. So the planners are quite prescriptive. We suggest activities, but it's quite prescriptive. And for example, for PLS2 year 4, we suggest you have pen pals. So if you click on the pen pals, and here's 2 you download there, but I've downloaded one already. Of course, the objectives, linguistic objectives of your pen pals are talking about yourself. Okay, so this is the task for your learners. Okay, and this is a sample. This is an example of a French girl, in this case, Julie. Je m'appelle Julie. Some of the objectives are French or Spanish or German school system. So that's one good way of telling the learners how the French system works. School subjects, where you live, of course, we recycle where you live, your nationality and your birthday. Okay, so it's about creating a little context so that your learners can recycle some of the objectives that they did the year before. This is PIS2. Ok, donc je m'appelle Julie, je suis ta correspondante pour cette année scolaire, j'habite à Versailles, je suis française bien sûr, mon anniversaire c'est le 23 mars, et toi? Écris-moi vite. Okay, that's super Julie. We obviously have the same thing for a boy. Okay, coming your way. Same idea, but this time je m'appelle Hugo, je suis ton correspondant. Okay, and the same structures to be used. Okay. What I would like you to do very quickly, you have a little template here. Could you write down in French or in Spanish or in Welsh, but I won't be able to to read what you've said, but say 3 things about yourselves, please. Maybe your name, maybe your birthday, maybe what you like, your likes and dislikes, and I'll show you why we're doing this in a minute. So you have 35 seconds to write in the chat function 3, 4 pieces of information about yourself, please. I'm keeping the shared screen just now so that you have a template there. This is a boy. This is the girl. Three, 4 little pieces of information in French, in Spanish, in German, in Welsh about you. Stephanie, can you tell me when the things start to appear in the chat box?
Yes, je m'appelle Daniel, j'habite à Rhyngwladol.
Ok, excellent. Parfait.
Je m'appelle Ryan, j'habite à Llanelwy. J'ai 43 ans. Je m'appelle Kay, j'habite à Syrtyn. Mon anniversaire, c'est le 30 septembre.
Fabuleux. Fabuleux. more?
That's it.
Okay. There might be more coming in. We'll read them later. Okay. Now, I'm staring for 2 seconds. This is a little activity taken from the planners, as I've explained. It's a gentle progression from the first year you introduce this vocab with your learners. Bonjour, je m'appelle. Now we're trying to put a little context. Think you're writing, imagine you're writing to your French pen pal. And by the way, if you're looking for partners in France, this is another conversation we could have, Stephanie, because we have plenty of French schools and Spanish schools interested in linking up with schools in the United Kingdom. So progression number 1, you're writing to somebody who exists. The connection between the planners and the responsive resources. So I'm going to share again now. And so planners there, resources. Again, I've explained before, responsive resources, let's go for French. These are resources which we have developed over the years to suit your needs and to support you so that you can embed French, Spanish, German into your curriculum, okay, into the various areas of your curriculum. So we now have maybe 200 dossiers, okay, and usually teachers ask us, a lot of numbers, myths, teachers ask us to develop resources linked to your learning context, to your curriculum. Recently, we've been asked to develop, you know, there's a big event coming up linked to Elizabeth. Linked to this lady. Okay. And what I would like to show you today is the connection between the planners and the responsive resources. So as you know, there's a big event coming up for Elizabeth. For us, it's an opportunity to recycle vocab from the planners and to put them into a new context. Have a look. Can you please write down 3 pieces of information about this lady for me, please? Can you confirm you can hear the sound, Stephanie?
La reine Elisabeth II, présentation. Bonjour, je m'appelle Elisabeth. Je suis la reine du Royaume-Uni, Elisabeth II. Je suis anglaise. J'habite au palais de Buckingham, à Londres, en Angleterre.
Nice house.
J'aime beaucoup les chiens, et en particulier les corgis. J'aime aussi les chevaux. J'adore les chapeaux de...
Okay. I'll stop there. J'adore les chapeaux. Okay. Could you please use the chat function or unmute your mic? Oh, I can see there's more in the chat function. Excellent. And give me 3 pieces of information about this lady in French. You can use je or you can use elle, she. Let's see what we can get. Okay, very good. Bonjour, je m'appelle Elisabeth, je suis anglaise, j'habite en Angleterre. Excellent. Anything else that you got? Ouais, je m'appelle Elisabeth, je suis anglaise, j'habite à Londres. Okay, wonderful. Go from to elle. Elle s'appelle Elisabeth, elle aime les chiens, elle habite à Buckingham Palace. I'm very impressed. Okay, Stephanie, which type of dogs does she particularly like, this lady?
Elle a des chiens corgis.
Excellent. J'aime les corgis.
Testing me.
Okay. 2 little documents, one taken from the planners, right to your pen pals, one a little video taken from the responsive section, responsive resources. Why am I showing you these 2 documents? How do they work together from a language learning and teaching point of view? Again, use the chat or just unmute your mic, please. Okay, excellent. Somebody said elle aime beaucoup les chiens, en particulier corgis. Parfait. In the chat. What's the connection between these 2 documents? Why is it interesting for us, language teachers and primary teachers?
So it's using the same language patterns.
Okay. Anything else? Any other thoughts?
They might be coming up a bit later.
Yeah. I think
same language, different context.
Yeah, that's right. I think what we're trying to do in primary school is to develop confident linguists. And in order to do that, of course, we'll have to go over some of the structures like personal language, but rather than learn off by heart and recite ad nauseum the same je m'appelle Jimmy, j'habite à Glasgow, or at Cardiff, it's nice to recycle to a different context. And when teachers say to me, but after 7 years of French or Spanish or German, will the learners be bilingual? And then my French won't be good enough for my Spanish. I say to teachers usually, if you teach maths for 7 years, your learners are not rocket scientists just yet. But if they want to carry on, they will with maths. And if they want to carry on with languages, they will. We're just passing on the skills to build upon. And I think it's the same with languages. There's no point in going and teaching the past tense of whatever verb. What we want is for them to be confident with, personal language in this case. So personal linguists, regardless of the context. Any thoughts, any reaction to this? Does that sound reasonable? And I can see a few heads nodding. So just use the chat anytime. For me, that is the progression. The progression can be linguistic, but also can be the confidence building. We want confident linguists. Another little progression, some of you might have seen this, linked to the daily routine. When we do languages, regardless of the language, we tend to do every morning in Scotland, I'm sure you do that in Wales as well, we do a little health check with our learners. So, for example, Stéphanie, comment ça va?
Ça va super bien.
Ça va super bien. Ooh, it's not just
super bien.
Super
ça va
bien.
super bien.
Ça va super bien. Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien.
Ah, ça va très bien. Ça va super bien. Ça va très bien. Comment ça va?
Ou ça va comme ci, comme ça.
Comme ci, comme ça. There's another way of saying that as well.
Ça va bof.
Bof. I quite like that. Bof, spelled B-O-F. You need to shrug your shoulders a bit. Bof. Comment ça va, bof? Comment ça va?
Oh, ça va mal.
Ça va mal. Ça va mal. Okay, you know this vocab. You've introduced this in French and Spanish and whatever the language. You do that most mornings or quite often. So 4 pieces of emotion and a health check. We also do this most mornings. And in Edinburgh, quel temps fait-il?
Il fait soleil.
Il fait soleil, which is true at the moment. But sometimes, quel temps fait-il?
Il pleut.
Il pleut. Ouais. Quelquefois, il pleut. Quelle température?
Il fait froid.
Il fait froid par opposition à?
Il fait chaud.
Il fait froid, il fait chaud. Okay, so these are little flashcards you have on the Power Language platform. We do the weather, we do the emotions. Very often we forget to link the two together. Okay, let's see if we could link these two emotions. Could you write a little sentence for me, please, everybody? Linking these two together. How could we link these two together in a simple manner from a linguistic point of view? Okay, excellent. Très bien, Lisa, I think it is.
Yeah. Je vais super bien parce qu'il fait beau. Dwi'n
Okay.
teimlo ardderchog achos mae hi'n heulog heddiw. Yeah, which is the same in Welsh.
I'm just going to take this up. Okay, so let's use pourquoi and let's use parce que. Why? Because. Okay, why? Because. Stephanie, can you, Stephanie, why am I calling you Stephanie? Could you make a little sentence for me? Comment ça va?
Ça va mal.
Ça va mal.
Oui.
Pourquoi? Pourquoi?
Parce qu'il pleut.
Parce qu'il pleut. Répète toute la phrase, s'il te plaît.
Ça va mal parce qu'il pleut.
Excellent. Excellent. Just take it up. Ça va mal parce qu'il pleut. So we've just introduced, whoops, we've just introduced two keywords in French. Why? Pourquoi? And because. Parce que. Could you write a little sentence for me, please, everybody, using how you feel, how you're feeling, and telling us why. Simplicity. Please. Choose the language you teach. Doesn't have to be French.
Je suis bof parce qu'il fait froid. Je suis super parce qu'il fait chaud.
Okay. Would we say je suis or ça va? Ça va.
Ça va, oui.
Ouais,
Oh,
ça
je
va.
vais. Oh, je vais.
Je vais
ouais.
bien. Or ça va bien. Ça va super bien. Ça va
We
beaucoup.
have dwi'n teimlo'n flinedig, which means that I'm feeling tired. So that's another way that we could justify why we're well or not.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We're just, this is
Ça
session
va
one
bof.
in a way. There'll be a session two to these. Ça va mal parce qu'il pleut. Excellent. Ça va bien. Full stop. That's very good. Ça va bien parce qu'il
Enter.
enter, yeah, et parce qu'il fait du soleil. Je suis jolie parce qu'il fait chaud. Alors, je suis jolie, you have to be careful. That's one of those which means something slightly different in French than English. Je suis jolie, which is probably true too. Yes, Vicky's loving, is more on the good looking. It's more the physical side than the mental. Je suis jolie et modeste, you could add. Je suis jolie et je suis modeste. Ok, je suis fatigué parce que je travaille 2 jours. Yeah, exactement. So our progression there is by linking two topics, the how do we feel and what's the weather like, which are topics we introduce all the time. Through, very good, you can read that in German as well, Stephanie, but you're just introducing one or two keywords. And these linking words, by the way, which we don't tend to teach very often for some reason, they are the ones which will help us build sentences and create sentences. And again, it's about being a confident linguist. Then I can go and create a sentence. Stephanie, do you want to read there?
Ich bin müde, weil es fast das Ende der Woche ist. I hope I've said it right, Angharad, if you want to come in.
Sehr gut. Sehr gut.
There's something to do with it's the end of the week, so she must be happy.
Yeah.
Am I right, Angharad?
I'm tired because it's.
Oh, I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so it's just using these little flashcards in this case, you know, which you can download and print off, or which I'm sure you have anyway when you do your health check and the weather. Putting them together, linking, adding little words, which will help the creativity of our learners even. And this is health and well-being. You know, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm great because of whatever. Health and well-being, is that a topic I presume it's an important topic for you? So for us in Scotland, and like you, I'm sure there's mental health, there's physical health, there's knowledge about the food that you eat. Could you write down for me, please, the name of 5 a day, 5 good things for you a day? Use whatever language you teach. 5 a day. What 5 good things could you have every day? And don't write le vin rouge. This is in the languages in the primary school we're talking about here. Le vin blanc. And then we'll do a little activity linked to this. Quelles sont les 5 portions par jour? 5 portions par jour.
So we have, in Welsh, we have peas, apples, carrots, strawberries and bananas.
Very good.
We've got in pomme and bière.
Yes, that's why I said don't say
vin
rouge.
Vin. Well, you started something. Yeah.
Something.
And again, apple, banana, carrots and pineapple.
Excellent.
Orange, naranja, manzana, tomato.
Okay, absolutely. Now, why are they good for you, these things? Let us, Traube, yes, Erdbeeren und Salat, of course, yes. Let us listen to a little video. It's a riddle, and let's see if we can guess what the food is. I'm going to share my screen. If you say nothing, Stephanie, it means the sound, everything's working. Okay, so Queen's hat I can get rid of, maybe. Yeah. Let us go to les devinettes. Numéro 1. Écoutez bien. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? We'll do the second one in Spanish. Let's do numéro 2 then if numéro 1 is not working. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Je suis un liquide. Je suis blanc. Je viens de la vache. Je suis plein de calcium. Je suis plein de vitamine D. Je suis...
Oops, I'm going to pause here. Should I play that again? Let's see if you can guess what it is and tell me how you know. What were the clues which took you there?
Je suis un liquide. Je suis blanc. Je viens de la vache. Je suis plein de calcium. Je suis plein de vitamine D. Je suis...
Pause. Well, back to this. Oh, somebody's good, Claire. Yeah. Well done. Anybody else wants to try in French? Oh, there are more clues. Yeah. Ok, excellent. Ok. Je suis un liquide. Let me go back. Then share screen. Oops. Let's do this one in Spanish, then we'll discuss all this. Ok, en español, soy. ¿Vale? Soy. Soy una fruta. Can you repeat? Don't unmute your mic. Do it at home or at school, but do not unmute your mic. Soy una fruta. Soy roja con una hoja verde. Soy pequeña. Soy dulce. Tengo mucha vitamina C. Soy. And can you use the chat function to tell me what this is? Mind you, there's a few answers to that thing. And how do you know? What is it? Sarah is fast. And how do you know? Soy una fresa, says Sarah, strawberry. How do you know? What were the clues in English? Now you can tell me. Okay, let's check the answer. Yes, sweet. Very good. Any other clues? Soy a la fresa. Oops. Let's do one more in French. Numéro 3.
Je suis marron, je suis un légume, je suis rond, je suis sous la terre, je suis plein de potassium. Je me transforme en purée ou en frites. Je suis...
Okay, I quite like that one. Can you tell us what this is and what the clues? I'll play it again. What the clues are.
Je suis marron, je suis un légume, je suis rond, je suis sous la terre, je suis plein de potassium. Je me transforme en purée ou en frites.
Very good. Very good. How do you say it in Welsh? How do you pronounce it? It's almost
Tatws.
like tatties
Tatws.
in Scotland.
Ah.
Tatties. Very close. Okay, yes, thank you, Claire. I am from the ground. I've got potassium. I'm a vegetable. Can make into fries. Very good. Mashed potatoes as well. Okay, so we had number 1, je suis le lait. That was the milk. Number 2, la fresa, soy la fresa. And number 3, une pomme de terre. Let's pause for a couple of minutes now. And I would like you to reflect and please use the chat. We need your contribution now. From a learning teaching point of view, is this of interest? Why, if so, and if not, why not? What are the challenges, if not, of this little activity. In a way, we started with health and well-being and combining the emotions and the weather in a simple way. And then, of course, now we're going into our 5 a day, potentially. Why do we think this is good practice for language learning and teaching? Let's start the professional dialogue. What's best, Stephanie, to unmute your mic for people or just use the chat?
Looks to be support with pronunciation for teachers through videos.
Okay, so that's a very important one. All the resources online for the Paralanguage have SAN files attached to them, whether it's a video or a PowerPoint document, and it's native speakers talking in French, Spanish, or German.
There's also being bilingual or trilingual can only be good. As a teacher, I would worry with what I'm saying. If I'm saying it correctly, I think that's what I mean.
Okay, which is probably why it's good to have the native speakers talking on the videos and the PowerPoint. Do you think Stephanie has a little French accent when she speaks English? Do you think I've got a little French accent when Franco-Scottish when I speak English? It doesn't really matter. You still understand what we're saying. So to have a little accent is not a bad thing for communication. Anyway, anything else about these activities?
Repetition of phrases in a different context.
Okay, that's absolutely right. And we saw that with the Queen and Elizabeth and Talk to Your Pen Pal. The structures are there, repeated. Okay. Anything else about the food riddle? I'll show you how to find it on the platform afterwards, by the way. Food riddles. What would you say, Stephanie, yourself, about these activities? Why do I think this is good practice?
It can touch on to, there's something else there.
Okay.
Love the fact that it's all there for us, not used French since I was 16. I really enjoy doing these activities myself, using speaking and listening with food riddle and listening for familiar words, and then using the language back, listening and understanding. And that's true, isn't it? Building that confidence that they can understand phrases that they've never heard before. Yeah. And working it out. And you can also link it to actually the concepts of health and well-being. What makes it a healthy product, or what are the characteristics of each product, if you wanted to categorize. So there's quite a lot there, isn't there?
No, absolutely. I like so listening, yes. I mean, we're trying to develop, when we teach a language, there are really 4 skills we're trying to develop with our learners, and it's listening, talking, reading and writing. In this case, well, using the letter to the pen pals, listening to the video, talking, we're trying, and then writing to the pen pal, we're going across the 4 skills. How did you manage to understand all these words for the food riddle? These are not words, maybe some of them you didn't know in French, I suspect. Why did you manage to understand most of it, if not all of it? Yeah, absolutely.
Linking between languages, picked up the words that sounded familiar to English.
Yeah, absolutely. So all these cognates, they're called cognates. In French, they're called mots transparents. I quite like that. That means words you can see through. Les mots transparents, le potassium, la vitamine C, blah, blah. Yeah, a number of English words come from French, absolutely. And it's great to link between languages. I think Daniel also said it's nice to be bilingual, trilingual, absolutely. And then create the links between these languages, loads of links between French and English, of course. Also, so the cognates also are these, 5-a-day, the properties of these fruit and vegetables. Is that something you would teach in English or Welsh? I mean, it's part of the curriculum is what I mean. So this is prior knowledge, which your learners will use to understand what's happening here. Very important. What fabulous skill it is to have as a linguist, and you listen and you know to choose your words enough, you're confident enough to choose the words so that you can build a full sentence and enough understanding to be able to communicate. In a way, I would say this is something we maybe didn't used to teach or to emphasize in the past. And for example, when I first arrived in Britain, I just thought, oof, I couldn't understand the word and didn't have the confidence or the skills to really try and separate the words and make sense of a long sentence. That's what we want our learners to do from the start, using topics such as health and well-being, or the Queen's Jubilee or whatever is part of your learning context. So that the skill, listening skill, very important, and confidence. Anything else? Okay, so one more thing from me. If we push on the health and well-being aspect of things, we've mentioned our 5-a-day and the food property. You also need to be quite healthy, physically active, shall we say. That's also part of health and well-being. Can you use your French, Spanish, Welsh, German to tell me which sports or activities do you yourselves practice? Quelles sont vos activités? Stéphanie, quelles activités tu fais, toi? Quelle activité ou quelles activités sportives?
J'aime le jogging.
Okay, j'aime le jogging, je fais jogging. So you can use likes and dislikes, or what you do. I run, je fais du jogging. Okay.
Natation,
Okay,
j'aime lire. Dwi'n mwynhau cerdded. I like to walk.
I like
Walking,
to walk.
cerdded.
Very good. Okay. Natation, excellent. Any other sports or activities?
Ich fahre marchant. En marchant.
Okay, that's
En marchant.
En marchant, je fais
En
de la
marchant.
marche. Je fais de la marche. Okay, so these sports and hobbies, again, these are things we introduce. That's a topic usually when we teach languages. Could we combine them to mental health? Why do you walk? Why do you swim? Why do you read? Or when? When do you walk? When do you read? When do you, primary boys and girls, tell me. Quand? Yeah. For example, quand je suis fatigué, do you know what I do? Oh, fatigué, sorry, the acute has disappeared. It's not a big problem. Quand je suis fatigué, je lis. Stéphanie, what did you write?
Quand je suis stressée, je fais du jogging.
Okay.
Oh, j'aime lire la nuit.
Ok, j'aime lire la nuit. Quand je suis fatigué, je lis.
Pan dwi'n mynd am dro, dwi'n mynd am dro pan dwi'n teimlo hapus neu trist. So go for a walk when I feel happy or sad at the weekend. ar y penwythnos.
Okay.
And then there's something in German. My German isn't up to scratch, but am wochenende meet meine Tochter. Angara, do you want to come in on that? I'll let us know what it means.
That was perfect. At the weekend with my daughter.
That was what? Sorry, I didn't hear.
At the weekend with my daughter.
Okay, at the weekend with, oh yeah, with my doctor, of course. Yes, that's, see, we should be confident enough to spot the cognates there, doctor. Okay, well, let's listen to some French-speaking friends of ours then, see what they have to say. Share my screen again. Écoutez. Salut, je m'appelle Alice. J'habite à Montréal, au Canada. Je suis canadienne. J'ai 17 ans. Wow. Quand je suis en colère, je joue au tennis. Quand je suis en colère, je joue au tennis. Do you understand what je suis en colère? Stephanie, can you explain to us?
When I'm cross or when I'm angry.
Oh, when I'm angry, je joue au tennis, a bit like John McEnroe, I suppose. Let's listen to another friend of ours. Bonjour, je m'appelle Aurélien. J'habite à Bruxelles, en Belgique. Je suis belge. J'ai 12 ans. Quand je suis fatigué, je regarde la télé. Okay, and I have another few, but let's stop there just now. Okay, what are we trying to combine here? Which areas of the curriculum? And so there's content and there's language. What content is this and what language are we using? Let's reflect, let's think about the two, content and language together, integrated. What is the content or the context of these little videos? Which curricular area could it be, potentially? And from a linguistic point of view, which area of language? Yeah, so language is about personal details, online sharing. Do you like the reformat, by the way, the little text message? Of course, the learners love it. Anything else, if in terms of content, curricular area, and the language? Or the culture, I suppose, maybe I should say. The other two, I mean, there's another two or three. Another one is, bonjour, je m'appelle Louis, j'habite à Dakar au Sénégal, j'ai 15 ans. Quand je suis content, je téléphone à mes amis. I think that's what he says, something like that. What are we doing with these little videos? Yeah. Okay, okay, that's right, geography. And what's the connection between le Canada, la Belgique, one of them is la France, le Sénégal? Yeah, okay. So we are recognizing countries, we're linking this with feelings and hobbies, and these are actually, yeah, French-speaking countries. So this is another area now you could embark on in English or whatever the first language you teach in your school. We've used French to open up a new area of the curriculum or a cultural area of the curriculum. You can do some of that in French, and then the rest can be done in English or in Welsh. Okay, if I go back to PLS very quickly, because we only have 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, remember planners, resources, you click on resources, French in this case, and the little activity we did with the fruit and vegetables. So there's a search engine, because now we have maybe 200 of these little dossiers, animals, the Celts, Charles Dickens, Chinese New Year, to fit into your, hopefully fit into your curriculum. So let's do, so which is why we've had to develop a powerful search engine. Let's see if we can find the food. I hope I can. Food riddles. There you go. So you click there, and these are the little videos that I used. Okay, the first one was strawberries, second one milk, or whatever it was. Okay, so that's how you find them on your on the PLS. Any thoughts? Anything? C'est bien? Bof? Ouais, Lisa? Nodding. I suppose what? Yeah, good. Claire, I'm glad. What thing would you take from this then? What do you like, if there was one word or one thing you liked about these, either the resources or the methodology, maybe the you know, trying to use the context to teach whatever the language is you're teaching, and hopefully French will have the context and the context will have French. Okay, yes, colorful, appealing resources. Yeah, yeah. Repetition and teacher support. And I've not shown you the teacher's notes, but there's loads of teacher's notes, of course.
I've said in the past about the fact that teaching in an international language and using resources such as what Power Language provides then influences my Welsh teaching as a second language as well, and trying to kind of take ideas and use those fun, engaging elements. And like you mentioned at the beginning with the repetition of language, is exactly the same with Welsh. I still go over as a year 6 teacher how to say weather, because it's one of those, if you don't use your language, you lose the language. And so we do Spanish using Power Language, and as someone with absolutely no Spanish, we use little things in the daytime that we normally use in Welsh and kind of combine the two of them. So I've liked that, and seeing different ways that we can introduce both and alongside each other with a little bit more weight to the Welsh, but again, just influencing the way in which it's taught, which I think is really useful. So diolch.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Lisa, for that. That's great. Claire is saying, I will learn the language and then use it in a real life way. Yes, yes. You know, a meaningful context to language learning and teaching, I think, is key. When I learned English, I had to learn all the colors. I knew all the colors, but I couldn't put them in a sentence, or I couldn't apply these colors to anything. So yeah, let's use a real context as much as possible. Real to your curriculum, if anything. Any other comments? And I have one final question for you when we have 1 minute, is in June, would you like me to go over more practical activities taken from, I mean, I can, you know, taken from the PLS and across the curriculum? What would be useful for you, I suppose, is the question. What would you like me to present in June? It's 1 hour, so it's difficult for me. I use little activities and different things, but you know, we could work on ancient Egypt, one topic, for example. We could. It's up to you. Teacher support is good. Yeah, Karina, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, because you are amazing. You already teach 2 languages, well, in English, in Welsh. You have lucky pupils, lucky learners. Anything you would like me to do? Any? Yeah, no problem. Otherwise, Stephanie and I will choose. I mean, it's fine. We'll have plenty, loads.
And you can always contact me.
Yes.
In in the meantime, you know, when you've had time maybe to look a bit more into the responsive resources yourself, or if you have something in mind, or, you know, for September, you think, oh, that I'd like to develop something like that, maybe,
For
I don't
June,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if they had something in mind, would you
Yes.
have anything
Yes.
about
For
that
next
and
session,
that
yeah.
to show me, showing the resources and planner again, and give us opportunity to try out the activities ourselves with the links to the topic.
So during the presentation, yeah. Okay, well, that's food for thought for us, Stephanie, and then we can come up with something.
Okay.
Merci tout le monde.
Yeah, I think we'll, you know, I just want to say thank you to Richard and to all of you for attending.
Yes.
Look forward to seeing you in June. We'll stop the recording now. Feel free to stay behind if you want to ask any questions, or feel free to get back to me on the email at any time. Thank you. Marianne,